What's up, my friends, and welcome to today's episode of Forte Catholic. I'm so glad that you are here. I know some of you on the internet have seen the chaotic good, chaotic evil, those sorts of things. Today is definitely a chaotic good episode. At least the first and third part with Allison and I. She walked out of the episode and she was like, "That's the craziest thing we've ever recorded together." And we hope that you enjoy it and I really hope that you do, because we actually had an argument. I think you're going to love it. She thinks we're absolutely insane, and so are you for listening. But I think it's great. That's why I hit publish on it, and you are listening and watching right now. We also have our friends. I can't talk today. We also have our friends from JMJ Missions on the show as our guests in the second segment. We get to talk a little bit about who they are and some saint miracle stories. So I got to learn a lot right in the middle. So in the middle of the chaotic good, there's some non-chaotic good as well. What is that one called? Neutral? I don't know. But we hope that you enjoyed this show. Golly, I promise you I learned how to talk when the episode starts. If you do enjoy it, please hit the subscribe button. If you like listening to your favorite Catholic podcaster who stutters through intros. Enjoy today's show. What's up? And welcome to Forte Catholic. I am Taylor Schroll. That is Allison Jemima Sullivan. Allison, how are you, friend?
Hello, greatest grandpa.
I am the greatest grandpa. If
You
you're watching
are.
on YouTube, you see my hat here. If not, if you're only listening on audio, Allison just called me old for no reason.
Oh, well, yep. That's the calmest and tamest and most polite of my insults I have for you right now.
I know. You made me genuinely angry 2 minutes ago. Your constant complaint about this studio, which you use for free.
No, hold on. Complaint of the studio, no. Lack of awareness about how I look cute-ist, yes.
So essentially, I'm just going to give y'all a little peek behind the camera here. And it involves the actual camera. I have one lens that's a very good lens, very expensive, pristine, makes us look great. But it's a little closer. It's a close-up lens, and this is a very small room, so it physically can't get any further. Camera's on one wall, you're on the other.
Listen.
Let me tell my story. So you were for a year of recording here, you're like, it's too close. And we finally got through it, and I was like, it's gonna be fine. And then we had gotten over it. And I have this other lens that's pretty cheap, but it's what's called a fisheye lens.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see forever. So it zooms you out maybe 1.5 feet. And you're like, it's too far away. I look so far away. Maybe that's just how you look, Allison. Maybe that's just what you look like.
Hold on. Listen, I will take this over that any day, because what you were posting, I looked like a pterodactyl. It was not pleasant. And I feel like anyone who truly had my best interest at heart, who cared about me even a little, would be like, oh, Allison looks a little prehistoric here. Maybe I should, I don't know, throw on a filter. Maybe.
More like historic. So freaking old. You do realize pterodactyls are dead. You look better than that. Which, by the way, you're all like, oh, I wish you had my best interest at mind. First of all, I slaved over those videos for hours. Second of all, what's the last thing I did for you before we started recording right now?
I don't know.
You don't even remember.
What? You handed me my cup?
You looked like half a raccoon.
Oh, you did. Okay, he helped me with my eye makeup. It's true. And here's the thing. Here's the real litmus test of what you may or may not get out of Taylor as far as care and compassion. I'm like, my cup's right over there, and I'm kind of weaseled into this space. I don't think he's gonna hand me my cup.
It's a full foot away.
What's the nicest way that I can kind of finagle Taylor's emotions into wanting to hand me a cup, to making it seem like it's his idea to hand me said cup?
What have I done to you to make you think that was a difficult ask? I've done so much.
You did just straight up wipe the eye makeup out from under me.
You've done a lot for me, so it's not like it's an unbalanced relationship at all. But I just don't understand what you think I've done to you to be I have to be so gentle.
It has to be your idea. That's all. Anyways, listen, if
your eyes looked real dumb before we started recording.
Well, then why can't you know the difference between dumb eyes and pterodactyl?
Because
Like what?
You looked fine. As
You
a pterodactyl.
no, you have
You looked
no
like a
judgment.
dead raccoon
You had
before we
no
recorded.
good judgment about
I
how
hope
I'm
now.
even a little cute.
You just recorded for your podcast with Father Josh Johnson.
Yeah.
That is a big reveal that's coming out in a couple of months. But I wasn't going to say it, but I'm genuinely frustrated now. I hope your eyes
That I have
looked exactly
just like
it
running
did.
down my face.
It
And
looked
you're
like you did your top eyeliner and then did the outsides till about halfway.
what
and
do
then
you
completely
know about
stopped.
eyeliner, Taylor?
That it's not supposed to look like that. I'm so mad.
You are
think I'm
so
a bad
mad. I don't think you're a bad person.
You're like, oh, I bet he won't get my cup. And
I
then
think
look at
you
your
don't wanna
face,
hand
I'm
me
like,
my
what's wrong
cup.
with your face?
And I probably looked fine. But when I look prehistoric and screeching, you're good with it. Anyways.
So frustrated. I don't even want to.
We're done here.
We're done here.
Bye.
Jeez. It would be so funny if we just stopped now through to the interview and didn't come back. We have a pre-recorded interview with our friends over at JMJ Missions that Allison is not a part of. We can stop the podcast now, throw to the interview.
Hold
and
on,
just
let me
not
storm
come
out.
back.
Hold on, let me storm out. Hold on. I'm going to throw something.
can't.
What do you want me to throw? I know.
Nothing.
I'm stuck.
You already threw the mic at me earlier.
I'm trapped here. Help. I'm blinking twice, people.
Yeah, your mascara's running again.
Wow, this is like definitely the worst intro ever.
Welcome to Forte Catholic. I'm
Welcome.
Taylor Schroll. That's Allison Sullivan. We are currently 5 minutes in. But you know what's good? As bad as this intro was and how genuinely upset I am right now, there has been so much Father Anthony on this feed for the last 3 weeks.
There has been.
And I love Father Anthony. We did our regular episode together in person. We did the next week's episode with me, him, and John. Then we did a bonus episode, which we haven't done in years, doing a recap of the retreat that we talked about in the previous episode. So there's been 3 episodes in a row with Father Anthony. And the first one was great. The second one was really good. The last one, he took his hair down. So like he was kind of done. But you took your hair down before we started, so you're kind of done. But as frustrated as I am, I'm glad you're here.
Okay.
Just because it was just so much Anthony.
Okay, just for a change of pace.
Just for a change
Just
of
a
pace.
different face to look
I
at.
hadn't been angry in 3 episodes, so it's good to feel these emotions again.
You've been too peaceful, Taylor. So I got to meet Father Anthony for the first time. Can you believe that was the first time? It feels strange to me because I feel like I know.
Yeah, you never leave your house, and he never leaves Pittsburgh. So
Right, yeah. Well, there was a small miracle getting us together. But you know how it is when you've listened to somebody for so long, and so you feel like you know them. It's just this great. It's this great. What do you call it when something speeds something up? It's an accelerant.
Listening to podcasts at 1.5 speed.
Yeah. Do you do 1.5?
Yeah, there's a whole argument with me and Anthony. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, so I do 1.5 too. But
because it's the correct way to do it.
Well, my husband does 2.0.
That's correct.
It's
if
crazy.
People talk slow. I do my sports podcast, like the stuff that doesn't really matter.
Maybe that's okay. Anyways, it doesn't matter. So. Anyways, I felt like I knew him, and it's always nice. I don't know. It just feels there's something. It's like right in the world when what you think of someone ends up actually coming to pass. And so it was like, I think I know you, and then I meet you, and it's like, oh yay, I do. Like it's all very accurate. So like who he is on the show is who he is in person, and he just has a really. I don't know that he'll enjoy this description.
It's okay. You're not going to enjoy his description of you either.
Oh, dear. Well, now I'm going to make him go first. What do you say?
No, keep going. Please.
Well, okay, fine. Every relationship needs a hero. And
here I am.
I
brought you together. I'll rip you apart.
Jeez. He just has a very calming presence. And so I can see he's very pastoral. And so I can see how he
has not been made a pastor yet.
But I can just see how people feel very cared for in his presence. He has a very gentle disposition that's very open. He's very receptive. He's just a very, very kind person. And I really enjoyed our lunch.
So what do you think is better? Which you didn't have lunch. That was a whole thing. I knew when we set the lunch date, I knew you weren't going to be eating. And you weren't. I was right.
Yeah, that was so. Listeners, kind listeners, and
the other 90% of them.
I spent probably too much money on a cleanse, like a juice cleanse, because I've just had enough of having too
Bowel
much.
issues?
No. That's a myth, actually. But
bowel issues are a myth?
No, that you have to like stay close to home if you're doing a cleanse because it's like you have urgency issues with
I thought you were saying anyone who struggles with IBS, it's not real.
Oh, no. I'm sorry for you. But so the cleanse thing, I spent a lot of dollars on it and I was day 2 into it. And so I didn't want to not go, but I didn't want to waste a bunch of money either. And so I was like, well, you just get all of me and my quirks. I'm showing up with this bottle of green stuff. So.
Yeah, neither of us were phased at all. It made
sense. Y'all were fine with it.
Okay, so we got in the car after Father Anthony met you.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, you just constantly tried to push us away from lunch.
Oh.
Like, we were 20 minutes in, but I think it's because you didn't eat. You were like, do y'all have to go? No. Every 10 minutes, you have to go?
Hold on.
You need to go?
Can I say what it was really?
Sure.
I knew that you were recording with John, and I was anxious about y'all being on time.
I'm a grown boy.
It's true.
And I had an alarm set for when I had to leave.
Okay.
Anyway, that was just my thing. So we got in the car after, and Father Anthony said something to the effect of like, because same thing, like you had known him from listening for forever. He's known you from listening to the show forever.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually thought higher of you after meeting you in person.
Wow.
He was like, I like her, but I wasn't quite sure if like he and you would connect. And he was like, she's great. I love that.
Oh, that makes me happy. I'm glad I didn't take anything back in my assessment. I didn't hold anything back, afraid of what he would. Okay, so I have this friend, and she swears by this like as a life philosophy. She took her kids to the shelter to adopt a cat. Hang with me. And her kids like instantly, they knew which cat they wanted. And they were like, it's this one. And it was just hardly like examined at all. It was like, this is the cat. And so the mom was like, but how do you know that that's the cat? And they all just kind of stood there looking at it and they shrugged their shoulders and they were like, I don't know. It just likes me. And it's like, if you are the first to like someone, chances are you're going to have like good, quick, I was going to say like relational ease, like if you're just complimentary and I'm just here to be receptive to what you have to offer, that's easy. So anyways, yeah, no,
Who's the cat?
Well, I was just thinking that I'm glad that with the way that you said, hey, he said something about you too, that immediately would make not just me, but anyone be like, oh gosh, what? And I'm like, no.
That was my intention.
Right, I know. But it's like, I'm not going to alter what I really thought. Like, I'm going to be the first to just like you. I'm going to be and I'm going to say it no matter what you say.
I thought about changing what he said because of all that setup. And I know you, and I saw it in your eyes, your freshly cleaned eyes. I saw it.
Thank you, Taylor.
And I almost wanted to be like, he really liked you, but hated you in person. That's what I wanted to say.
No, I'm way too sensitive for that.
I know.
But the other thing is that I remember you telling me way back when that he really liked me as a co-host. Like he was, and so, and the reason I remember is because I was like, I get on here and spout a bunch of, theological stuff, so that I had the nod of a priest felt really affirming to me. So I've kind of held on to that, and the fact that he liked me more in person that makes me want to hug him. Father Anthony, can we have a hug soon?
Am I the cat? I'm still not sure who the cat is.
You're the mean mom tapping her toe, telling us to all hurry up.
That was you. Wrap up your lunch. We gotta go.
It was.
You two have a play date with one of your other friends in Chicago. Hurry up. As you drink your juice cleanse. You are our mom.
Yeah. Y'all were like, so I thought you were going to post this picture because I thought it was really clever. Like y'all are both standing there.
I have so much content from when he was here that
you do.
I'm having to drag it out.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. But y'all had like this word trash, like both of you, like respectively over each shoulder. Taylor, trash. Father Anthony, trash. I'm like, I got to get this. This needs documented.
You were so happy to take that picture of us.
Almost as happy as I was to punch you in boxing. Oh my gosh, I want to do Taekwondo with Father Anthony.
Oh, he would absolutely murder you.
Oh, well, duh.
Fourth degree black belt.
See, okay, that's
And
as frustrating as like when someone admits defeat, when someone's like, of course they would. That's so frustrating. Like me being better at you than Wordle.
You're so into this.
I want you to be upset that I'm better than you, and
You're
you don't care.
Published author. And so one of the things we did on the retreat was we took the spiritual gifts assessment. Have you ever taken that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So like I would imagine writing was pretty high on yours, right?
Okay. Communication, yes.
Celibacy, I get a 0 out of 15 every time I take it. Writing, I get a 1 out of 15 every time I take it.
Oh.
So I'm just like not surprised at all.
Yeah.
When you're like, oh yes, I did this word thing better than you. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. There's certain things that you're like not insecure about because you don't claim them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so somebody is this.
Yeah. Like you have more followers on TikTok totally pisses me off.
Oh,
I like social media and I want.
Oh yeah, and I don't care. I forget to tell people.
Exactly.
I was like,
it's the vice versa thing. I'm so angry, and you don't care
so
at all.
funny. Yeah, I was trying to like write an email to get something I wanted, and someone was like, "Did you tell them that you like almost have 1 million followers on TikTok?" I'm like, "Oh no, I forgot. That might have helped. I don't know." But someone accused me of not being able. Someone was trying to be mean to me. This was years and years and years ago. But someone was trying to be mean to me, saying that I wouldn't be able to keep up in their book club, and I'm like, okay, but like I've never been accused of being dumb. You know what I mean? So like that didn't. But that didn't hurt me. I'm like I won't be able to keep up in your book club. Okay, you know, like that it's not an insult to me. So whatever.
Things I want to say right now on your behalf, but I'm not going to because we're recording a Catholic podcast.
Oh, fine. I'm certain you'll tell me later.
I will. See, I come to your aid even when you just want to like, oh, I'm too far away. I don't look cute. You're an old woman. Of course you don't.
I am an old woman and I'm clinging on to cuteness. Look, speaking of. Yeah. Can you see that? Okay, I'm showing Taylor my gray roots. It's like they happen overnight and then they're out of control.
I don't have a beard anymore because my cool beard became old in 4 days.
Join the club. Join the club, Taylor. Welcome.
I'm young though.
I know. Yeah, but I'm prematurely gray. I was prematurely gray. Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what was really funny is in our notes, we were like, now's the point in the show where we're going to transition to things that we're angry about. But we've been from the first moment.
Kind of met my quota being angry.
You're really bothered about the Wordle thing. I texted you about it the other day. I stopped playing for like a month and a half, and it used to have a black background. Like it used to be owned by the guy. Everybody knows the story. Yeah. And then the New York Times bought it or whatever.
Right.
And
mine still has a black background.
Mine changed.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I quit for a month and a half.
Yeah,
but not only did the background change, but like I still have my same phone and like it deleted all my stats.
I would be so livid because I worked really hard. Once I started getting most people get most in 4, right? Like 4s.
No.
What?
I constantly get them in like 4 or 5.
Okay. Well, I was noticing
I wouldn't have kept up in that book club.
I was noticing that my 3 was inching closer and closer to my 4. So I was having as many 3s as I was 4s. And I'm like, okay, my goal is to get more 3s than 4s. And I did it. And I have more 3s than 4s. And so I would be livid if they got rid of my stats.
Well, it's happened to me twice. And this time, the first time it was pretty early. It was like 20 days in. So I knew I had missed one. So it's like, okay, that's fine. Like, I missed one. Yeah. But ever since then, it was like 100 something days. So I was like, I don't know. I was at 98%, but I don't know how many that was, So I don't know how many I missed and stuff. But I don't care. Okay. Speaking of the internet and things that made me angry. This is when I was supposed to get angry on the show.
Okay.
I've been angry since the first second because of you.
Spontaneous anger versus planned anger.
Right.
I'll accept them both.
So there's this thing on Instagram, this account called Success Addictives. And I like about 80% of the stuff that they post. It's all about like leadership and mentorship and those sorts of things, business kind of stuff. And it's one of those things that it's kind of like a quick jolt of like inspiration. It's like, oh, I'm going to go work or whatever, right? I'm going to go tackle something. So like usually it's inspiration stuff. But like they're not a Christian thing. So like every now and then it's just like there's just something lacking. I saw one today that made me the most angry that I've been at this.
Oh.
At this. account that I like a lot,
Yeah.
right?
Now, hold on. Is it like a reflection? Is it a quote? Is it a meme? Like, what do they do?
Yeah, it's usually like
Advice?
like clips. It's usually like reels, like clips
Uh-huh,
of videos, or like sometimes it's a little bit of everything that you said, but it's mostly videos of like clips from TV shows or movies or whatever, and then there's like a little description down below. So this one was just like a picture. It was a reel, but it was just a picture. Anyway, it was mostly just pictures. And the top picture is like a Bentley or Cadillac or something that I don't know how to afford, and then a plane in the background.
Okay.
And on that one, and on the bottom one's a guy like working really late at his desk, in like a high rise, right? So it's dark and it's just his computer screen on his face or whatever.
Okay.
Here's what it says: if you want to buy things without looking at the price, work without looking at the clock.
Ooh.
What do you think?
Wow. At what expense?
Right.
Like your marriage.
We're not sure. You can't look at the price.
Well, I'm like thinking of, okay, work without looking at a clock. That's going to cost a lot.
That would piss off my hourly contractors. I don't know. I quit looking at the clock. It was probably like 12 hours to do your hour.
Wow. That is interesting. And so they're promoting that as like I would post that as like a cautionary,
Right. Right. And they're so proud of it. So like I've seen things where it's like, so I get it. It's this constant balance where like I think faith helps balance a lot of things.
Yeah.
Things that seem contradictory, right?
Yeah.
So like having financial freedom and like being able to buy stuff without stressing, like we're stressing about buying groceries. We're stressing about buying gas prices. We're stressing about
medicine,
paying for kids' school, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So like it would be nice to be able to buy stuff without stressing about it.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's like I'm a workaholic. Like I have seen the positives and the negatives of working too much. I was telling you earlier, I've been waking up super early and like starting work at like 7:15. And then I finish my work by like 3 because I was working like 9 to 5, right? Now I'm working at 7 and I can't stop working because I'm so used to working until 5,
to those,
6, 7.
those hours.
Like yesterday I worked a 10-hour day. I was done with yesterday's work. And I just did today's work.
Yeah.
And then today I woke up, I'm like, I guess I'll do tomorrow's.
Yeah.
So I get the mentality of like wanting to work hard and wanting to build a business, build a ministry, whatever you're doing. But both of these lines made me angry.
Yeah.
Because, okay, so let's start with the bottom first. Work without looking at the clock. Like clearly you should have some balance. You should have some, that sort of thing. We've talked about that at length. The top one made me so angry. Because the richest people that I know still look at prices, and receipts, because it's like, okay, you want to buy this jet. It's the same exact jet. Nothing is different. Somebody is selling it for $8 million. Somebody's selling it for 10. I get those aren't jet prices, but it's like I'm gonna look at the price and I'm gonna buy the $8 million because I'm not an idiot because I became a millionaire by.
So the first part, work without looking at the clock. On one hand, it's like, oh, without reading the rest. Like if I just heard that, I could maybe kind of get on board where it's like it feels like a nudge to do what you love. Like if you love what you're doing, you're not sitting there staring at a clock. So like, okay, is maybe that what they mean? No, it's not. That's not what they mean at all.
Right, that's a positive that they've ruined.
Yeah, they're saying don't have any other thing in your life, because if you're working without looking at a clock, then that means that the only thing that matters is work, right? Okay, so there's that. But then there's this, we have a responsibility to good stewardship.
Right.
Can you imagine? And then it's a picture of, what is it again?
It's a jet and like a Cadillac or a Bentley or something.
Holy smokes. That's not even like, oh, I want the healthy cereal because that's good for me. It's okay if it's $6. It's like, wow. That is crazy. I'm trying to think of the last time that I bought something that ended up being like more... that cleanse. Yes. I was like, but I knew that.
Gasoline.
Well, yeah, right.
That was perfect timing. Accidentally.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I hope they catch that.
Well, they will now. We stopped.
But anyway, I think that maybe I've accidentally grabbed like some makeup product on accident where it's like,
smeared it all over your eyes.
Just rubbed it around. So, but with like assuming this is going to be reasonable and then it's unreasonable.
Right.
But I can't even imagine. That's crazy. I agree with you. That's crazy.
I got a shot of liquor.
Okay. Sorry.
that, I thought it was going to be like $12.
Yeah.
And it was like 42. Or something.
Right.
It's like
lesson learned.
Even that mistake, it's like, okay, it's a $30 mistake, not millions.
Yeah. Okay. So question, how do you engage with that account? Like, how mad did it make you? That's my question.
I did half a segment on it.
I know, but are you still following them?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because I like 80%.
You say that unequivocally.
If I just unfollowed accounts that I didn't like 20% of what they posted, I wouldn't follow you anymore.
Yeah. No, I feel that. See, gosh, I really need, and I just was convicted in my podcast that I just interviewed. Like, I am 100% or no, I'm good. Like,
You used to be.
What do you mean?
Yeah, that's a product of the old COVID.
Oh, okay. I'm curious your thoughts on that.
We've talked about it before.
I really short-term memory loss. Also, whatever that word is of COVID. I can't recall things anymore. No, like short-term memory loss. Lots of brain fog. Lots of brain fog.
All of
happening over here.
What is it called? When
to the delight of Taylor. Okay, but now I really did forget what I was talking about.
It's okay because we've gone way too long.
No, come on. I would like to wrap it up. I'm tidy.
All
right, fine. Oh. So if that post made me mad, I would probably unfollow. And I don't care about the 80%. It's like it's like you just revealed yourself. You just revealed some core value that I don't share and I have to unfollow now.
Well, I almost said I'm smart enough, but I realized how derogatory that was. You're not welcome at my book. Like
thoughtful.
These big corporations, it's not one person posting them.
Right. Oh,
so,
okay.
You know what I mean? Like they have a social media team and one person posts something bad. It's like, okay.
Yeah, but they have values that they like adhere to.
Well, they don't. They should just hire a bunch of 21-year-olds to post for them.
Well, I don't think it offended you that much if you're still following. That's all I'm saying.
Angry. And I like that's the thing is I just think they're stupid and I move on with my day.
Yeah.
They didn't actually
That's a good skill though.
You did.
Just now.
I'm so far away.
I don't know that
All right, well, we're going to come back and, that whole stomping out thing we're going to do. I'm going to make Allison stomp out of here. There's an interview that I did with our friends over at JMJ Missions. We talk about very holy stuff. We go from this, us arguing. It's going to flow perfectly into these beautiful stories about the saintly miracles that they're going to talk about. And then we'll come back and ruin it.
There's another side of me, friends, at JMJ Missions. Yeah.
You think they're going to listen to the episode they were on?
Yeah. You don't listen to the episodes you're on?
No.
Oh, no, I do.
I don't listen to stuff people pay me to. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Our friends over at Select International Tours would like me to let you know about one of their upcoming trips, specifically the one that involves the word that is now the official word of the Forte Catholic podcast because of how I butchered it when we first started. But I think I got it now. Have you ever wanted to go see the Aberammergau Passion Play? Aberammergau. I think I got it now. Hey, that rhymed! I didn't even mean to do that. But you can go see the Passion Play. There's including shrines of, here's another word. Chekatotroa and Divine Mercy. I know how to say that last word. You can go to this trip August 3rd through 14th of 2022. This Passion Play, it's funny, ever since I started mentioning it on the show, it's come up a lot, either with people making fun of me of how bad I say the word, but also I've heard about it just in like random conversations with random people that are saying like how great this Passion Play is. So you can check out this trip along with others. You can save $250 on this trip right now. You can so this trip and all the others that they have on Select International's featured trips right now, they've got hundreds of dollars off a lot of these trips. So if you are interested, if you wanted to go see some holy sites, especially the Aberammergau Passion Play, head on over to fortecatholic.com/tours right now, and it'll take you right to these great trips. Welcome back to Forte Catholic. I am Taylor Schroll, and I am now joined by two people who run a ministry called JMJ Missions. I I think TMJ. I think that's like a lockjaw kind of thing. But what does JMJ stand for?
JMJ stands for Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. We kind of derived this from Archbishop Fulton Sheen. He had a TV show back in the 50s and 60s, I think, called Life is Worth Living. And he would teach the crowd, and he had a little blackboard in front of him that he would write on. And in the corner of his chalkboard, he would write JMJ. And it stood for Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. And we kind of were always drawn to that. So we thought, what better way to name our ministry than after that?
Did you ever think of how people, not that they're supposed to, because it's one of the commandments, but how people often use that to curse?
That's true. Yeah, like I guess that is one of the ways to break the second commandment. Like
is that a Southern thing? Y'all are up in New Jersey. Is that a Southern thing?
people don't say that as much here. Dan, you want to elaborate on that?
I feel like you have to say it with a Southern accent.
Older folks up here, I've heard older folks say those three names in succession as in vain.
Yeah,
you could say, but not so much. I think the younger people here are so in their own world they don't even know how to curse that way, which is actually kind of probably a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's good. Teaching them well up there in the north, contrary to what we were taught in school about you guys. So, Anthony and Dan, I haven't said your names yet, but welcome to the show. I'm glad that you guys are here. So, I've followed you guys on Instagram. It's the primary way that we've communicated, and y'all have put out some really cool videos. Like, I think the ones that really endeared me to you guys was y'all were connecting faith and sports. It was some of the first videos I saw. Y'all were talking about like theology or like little 60-second reels, these clips or whatever, while y'all are shooting basketball, either with the two of you guys or like one of your teens from local church or something. And I was just like, hey, this is cool. I like this. I want to be friends with them. So what do you guys do? Why'd you start JMJ, and what are y'all doing now?
So basically, we had conversions when we were right out of college, right out of high school, first year of college. Myself, Anthony here, our videographer, Rocco, who's not here today, and Ryan, another best friend of ours. We had incredible, almost like miraculous things happen to us. We met the family of a soon-to-be saint, and then we kind of just didn't stop. We just kept growing in our faith and trying to understand more and more about the church and the sacraments and the saints and all those kinds of things. Myself and Anthony had a brief stint in seminary before we both discerned out for marriage, and I'm married now happily.
Neither worked out for Anthony. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
And then we both became teachers, just not on purpose. We don't try to live our lives in cohesion like that. It's just kind of how it happened. So I teach high school theology. Anthony teaches middle school religion. And then it came to me one time. I was thinking, we have summers off. We got weekends, things like that. I always felt that we could be doing more. I could be doing more for the Lord than I am just as a teacher. So the idea of giving talks and making YouTube videos and kind of evangelizing through the internet, things like that, came to my mind. I asked Anthony about it. He was on board. We did a novena to Mary under the Immaculate Conception title, and we got an answer during the 9-day novena to do it, which is pretty cool. And that's what we do now. So we have a podcast and website and all that kind of stuff, and we try to evangelize by all means possible.
A lot of it was born from watching other Catholic YouTubers. Like we would watch Chris Stefanik and Father Rob Gallia, and we would look at these videos and we can do this. We should do this. And then it just got to a point where all right, let's actually do this. And we started, and it's been awesome ever since.
Well, Father Rob made it look really easy. His first appearance on this show, he did the interview next to a dumpster outside of his hotel. So if you can record a podcast outside of right next to a dumpster, you could do it in your house. So
that's really cool. I didn't know he was on your show. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Mm-hmm. So I have to reverse back to something Dan said just casually about 5 minutes ago, that you became friends with a saint's family. What do you mean? Are you eternal? Have you been around for 1,500 years? How does one do this?
So soon to be saint, hopefully. So her name is Maria Esperanza de Bianchini. She was from Venezuela. She was a wife, grandmom, a very famous mystic of the last 50, 60 years. She knew Padre Pio. So her cause for canonization is currently underway in the Vatican. And we were fortunate enough to meet a priest and a few other people who knew her personally. She would come to the U.S. a lot. And then we got closer with her family. We're still close to them to this day. And it was through them that we had some pretty cool experiences and really experienced the joy of the Holy Spirit in a really intense way, which really inspired us.
It's awesome. So one of the things that I knew that you guys wanted to talk about today, and it's funny because it is something that is missing in what is typically something that I talk about. So I think it's a perfect fit for you guys. But the saints is something that I didn't grow up learning a lot about, right? And one of the things that you guys do when you go around and give your talks, your missions, one of the things that y'all both said popped up pretty often is these like miraculous saint stories. And I didn't grow up hearing them. I know a lot of people in the Catholic world did, but like I was taught more like in like scripture stuff. And there's like, saints in scripture, but they're like St. John. I didn't learn much about the 2,000 years after, between now and then. So, Anthony, I know that you had a Saint Miracle story that you wanted to share with us, and I'd like to learn. I'm sitting at your feet, buddy.
Yeah, sure. So I had one in mind. I had a John Paul II one in mind, but I think that one's too long. I actually tell that one when I give talks, and to tell it properly would probably take me 10 minutes. So no story gets told properly on this show, so don't worry about it. That's funny, but I'm probably going to do like a little option lateral to bring the sports reference back to a Padre Pio story, pretty short little cool one. So I'm not sure what you know about Padre Pio, but he was an Italian saint. He was a mystic. He had stigmata. He could bilocate, and he would spend, I think, anywhere from 18 to 20 hours a day in the confessional. Like he would sleep very little. He would eat very little, would very rarely take bathroom breaks, and he was just in the confessional all the time. And people would line up to receive absolution from him because it was like an awesome thing to do. And always the devil was trying to attack him, like through demons or this and that. He was always under constant spiritual attack. So there was one day he was in confession, hearing confessions, and people were in line, and there was a dude like in the shape of a man that was standing there in line, and he was wearing a suit.
In the shape of a man, huh?
like so. Could be. Well, I don't want to spoil it. So hold on. So he's standing there, and he's got a suit on. He's like well dressed, and he's waiting in line with everybody else. Other people see this guy, and maybe they say a few things to him. Who knows? He goes into the confessional, and as he's confessing his sins, when he's confessing them, he's smiling. He's kind of grinning, and he's almost defending his sins. He's not showing sorrow. He's not showing remorse. He's saying, well, like I did this sin, and this is why it's okay. He has like this pride about his sins as he's saying them to Padre Pio. So Padre Pio knew right away that something wasn't right. He thought like there's no way that anyone would come to confession and be proud of what they did. So he knew something was not correct. So he looked at the dude and he said, for your penance, say Viva, I'll say it in Italian, but I don't have a good Italian accent. Say Viva Maria and Viva Jesus, which means long live Mary and long live Jesus. Right after Padre Pio like ordered that command for him to say that, the guy totally just vanished. He vaporized and left behind the scent of sulfur. So the next guy opened the confession door, and no one was there. So people attested to seeing him go in, and no one came out. And obviously Padre Pio is not like an axe murderer or something. So it's not. So I think it was maybe the devil or a demon taking on a human form, trying to throw Padre Pio off his game.
So could you imagine? Like this is why I can't do serious stories about the faith, because like I get it, right? It's trying to show that Padre Pio is holy, and I know that he had like discernment of spirits and that gift. Mm-hmm. But all I can think about is, could you imagine sitting in that line and being like, well, I wanted to go to confession, but I think I'm gonna come back next week because I don't know if I want to get pulverized into sulfur.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, it's better than going to hell, I guess. I mean,
that's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, it technically is better than going to hell, but I'm just kidding.
Choose your form. Do you want to be turned into sulfur or go to hell? It's like, are those my only options?
Yeah,
it's funny.
So, Anthony? What do you think the real lesson is? Not the lesson of me just sitting in that line and being terrified to go into the confessional now.
That's funny. Well, actually, interestingly enough, I think it kind of proves evil, and then proof of evil is also proof of God, because there wouldn't be demons or Satan if there was no God. So that's kind of how I've always looked at that. That's why I've kind of been drawn towards exorcism stories. Not that I obsess over that, because that'd be a little bit weird. But like those stories, it just proves that evil is real, which ultimately proves that God's real.
No, I totally agree. It's a big
Mhm.
part of my conversion when I was young, is I wasn't sure if like this God stuff was real, if it was all made up. And ironically enough, it was demons that proved to me that God was real. I started seeing demons and having experiences with like evil spirits, right? And I was
Yeah.
like, well, if that's real, there's got to be something else real. And ironically enough, you know, Satan's trying to scare you, and ultimately he's actually proving that God is
Yeah.
real. Yeah, he can't figure it out. He doesn't get the long game. He's like, oh, God, see, I'm going to kill him. Well, you lost the long game there, buddy.
Yeah.
I think St. Augustine said the shadow proves the sunshine. Something like that.
I like
Wait,
that. That's a
was
good
that
one.
St. Augustine or Switchfoot?
Is that a Switchfoot
It was
lyric?
probably knowing Switchfoot. Yeah, it's a song by them. I think it was like
Really?
an old song by them, right? Knowing John Foreman, lead
Crooked
singer of
souls trying to
Switchfoot. It was
stay
probably
out straight. Dry eyes in the
he was probably
foreign
quoting
rainbow.
St. Augustine.
Shadow proves the sunshine. I had no idea that was a St. Augustine quote. That's funny. I mean, yeah, he's a super
He
Christian guy.
probably
That's
is
so
quoting
funny.
Augustine.
That's so funny. I didn't. Yeah, I knew Matt Mara did. I didn't know Switchfoot did. Okay, so Dan, Anthony's story both inspired my faith, but also made me terrified to experience one of the 7 sacraments. So, do you have a story for us about Saint Miracles?
Yeah, I'll take it in the total opposite direction of Padre Pio and demons turning into sulfur, and I'll just go and talk about a young Italian girl, Saint Clelia Barbieri. She's very like, I don't want to say rare, like she's a Pokemon card. She's not well known.
Is she shiny? Does she glitter in the
Holographic.
sunlight?
Yeah, she's like a holographic Charizard. Man, I feel like I'm in 2nd grade.
That's how
Yeah,
this show should feel.
No one knows about her. She's really cool. She died at a very young age, maybe 23, 24. She wanted to be a nun. She never became a nun. I can't remember why, but she ended up starting a house for girls, teenage girls and girls in their early 20s, to live like sisters. And eventually, I believe she did get approval from the Vatican to start a new congregation. But she had many miraculous gifts, which is really cool. And to hear about, if you ever see pictures of her, she's a very normal-looking, very pretty, normal young woman who is recent too. I mean, I think she lived in the late 1800s, so recent, you know, comparatively speaking to Christ, I guess. And she basically could read hearts. She had the gift of prophecy. So one cool story is a woman donated apples to the girls living at the house because they kind of lived off, kind of like begging, like the way Franciscans do. And she took the apples, and instead of taking all of them in front of all the girls there, she divided the apples into 2 groups. She goes, "We'll take these ones." She said, "But these 4 or 5, we can't take them because they've been stolen." And the woman who donated them was all offended. She said, What do you mean they're stolen?" She goes, you definitely stole these. I can't take them. You need to take them back." And then the woman confessed that she ran out of apples, wanted to fill up the whole basket, and went to her neighbor's apple tree and picked 4 or 5, and Clelia knew which ones were stolen, which ones weren't, which is really, really cool. So it just kind of proves for us that part of our conversions came through the gift of cardiognosis, which is like a really fancy way of the reading of hearts that like Padre Pio had. We got to experience that, and from a very holy individual. So like for me, that proves, you know, God knows everything. He knows us. He's got a plan. Just really cool stuff like that. And one final cool story about her is that after she died,
Okay, hold on,
that young
because I
age-
have something to
Oh,
say
okay, go ahead.
about your story. Because Anthony's story, as good as it was, made me terrified to go to confession. Your story as actually a great lesson. It made me scared to talk to old women with apples, which is a lesson that I learned from fairy tales growing up. So I feel like this
No
is a
way.
great lesson. Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
That's so funny. Don't ever take an apple from an old woman or a serpent, or maybe it's the same thing. We don't know.
Okay, continue.
Wasn't your last podcast, Taylor, on old ladies? Wasn't that part of the
It was.
topic?
It
Your last
was, yeah.
podcast?
So when Allison Sullivan offers me fruit, I definitely refuse.
That's so funny. So the last story is from her is that after she died at that young age, she loved singing. She loved going into the chapel and singing with the girls. And after her congregation got approved and then she passed away, for years they heard her singing in the chapel with them for different prayers and different hymns. And that went on for, I think, 10 to 20 years. They would hear her singing in the chapel very clearly. No one else would be singing. It would sound exactly like her after she had already passed away, which is really interesting.
That's
So
awesome.
for me, it kind of comforts you when it comes to death, you know, and heaven, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's great. All right, so with the time that we have left, I'm going to ask Anthony to do something that I didn't prep him for, but I think he can do it because I can't let you end the way that you ended. So what I need for you to do is, if not just from this story, but if anybody is feeling like, hey, I'm scared to go to confession for any real reasons or fake reasons, like you're going to get turned into sulfur. If anybody is feeling like, hey, I don't want to go to confession, or it's not really my thing, what encouragement would you have for people to go to confession and kind of get past those barriers?
Right. I would say to just get rid of fear and any embarrassment, because a lot of people, it's very hard to look someone in the eye and tell them what you did wrong. So I would say that to know this one fact, that priests do go to prisons to hear the confessions of prisoners. So your sins are probably not going to shock them. A priest told me that once, and that's always what I say to my students. Like, they're 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and they're scared to death to go to confession. I'm like, guys, they've heard murder confessions. You're not going to shock them. Like, so it's like, just to know that it's better to just get it off your soul and say it and throw it in the ocean of God's mercy than it is to carry it around on your back forever.
And none of those prisoners were turned into sulfur. So that's the primary
right.
lesson for today. So, guys, I want to thank y'all both for coming, not only coming on the show and teaching me about some saints, putting the fear of God in me, all of the above. But I know that y'all are doing great stuff. I've loved y'all's videos on Instagram. So I've been following you on Instagram for a while, and then I recently got on y'all's YouTube. So y'all are doing some more long length and the real videography stuff, which I don't have the ability for. I just turn on the camera and sit here and hope people enjoy it, but y'all are doing some great stuff. Y'all are also, y'all travel and give talks, parish missions, that sort of thing. You can find all of that on the website. But you've also got a podcast, so if people are listening to this in their podcast app, they can just switch on over and check it out. So here's your chance for a little plug for the podcast.
Yeah, sure. So our podcast, just search JMJ Missions. Again, the JMJ stands for Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, and we're available everywhere: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all over the place. Anything else on our website?
Perfect.
JMJmissions.com.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank y'all for coming on, teaching me about, I knew about Padre Pio, but I had not heard that story before. And I had never even heard of the saint and the almost saint that Dan brought up. So I learned a lot today, trying to fill in the gap of my my saint knowledge, and I will definitely never forget you guys, because the next 20 times I go to confession, I'm gonna be sitting in that line and thinking about being pulverized into sulfur. So go check out JMJ Missions on YouTube, podcast, wherever you listen, and they're doing great stuff, and go support them and give them a listen, and I'll be right back. Don't go anywheres. As I mentioned last week, I wanted to thank you guys for the love that we've seen on our YouTube channel. We finally hit 1,000 subscribers. You guys are the best. The last thing that we need in order to get partnered from YouTube, which means two things. One, they'll start sending us money. And two, they'll start promoting our videos, which would just be great for the growth of what we're doing here with our digital evangelization here at Forte Catholic. So one way that you can help us, if you are watching on YouTube, just keep watching. Check out some of the other videos. If you are listening on podcast, because we've been pushing YouTube for so long, we haven't promoted some of the good things that you should do for podcasts, like leave a review. We haven't gotten a review in absolutely months. So if you're listening right now and have not left a review, especially on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, leave 5 stars, write something nice, and we might mention it on the show. Thanks. Welcome back to Forte Catholic. I am Taylor Schroll. I've learned something about myself recently through other people. You know how that works, and sometimes it sucks?
Indeed.
Okay, here's what I've realized.
Okay.
I shared the story. I shared the story about getting this Diocese of Beaumont conference that I just did a few weeks ago. How they reached out, and it was a month away from this diocesan youth conference, 750 people. All these other great speakers and musicians, and the bishop was going to be there, and they called me a month out, meaning I wasn't their first choice.
Someone canceled.
Mm-hmm. And they were like, who doesn't have anything going on that can drop everything at the drop of a hat? Let's call Taylor Schroll.
I think the first part is true. The second part is not.
Nope. It keeps going. If it was just one time, I'd be like, oh, no. At first, when that one happened, I was like, that's actually really cool. That they trusted me a month out. They didn't have to do all.
I don't mind being someone's B team.
Well, then it kept happening. So about a week ago, so that was 2-3 weeks ago. A week ago, I get a call to do an event in a month from right now in Kansas. that I'm doing. I just signed the contract today. And again, I'm super happy to be there. The other speaker's great.
Yeah.
And this time they were very open and honest. They were like, Steve Angrisano had to cancel for personal reasons. Something happened with his family or something. So, our prayers for Steve. He's a big part of my childhood, and he was one of the big speakers and musicians and all the stuff when I was growing up. Go make a difference, like all that stuff. Like he's going to make a difference and I'm taking his place where he left. So, they called me a month out, happy to do it. But they looked and they were like, oh, we saw your calendar and saw you're open. Because I had nothing on my calendar for this fall except for one thing in Seattle. Seattle was planned months in advance. I'm very happy about that. But then, literally the same day that I get the call about Kansas, I get a call from a parish in Florida where they're starting they just started a new marriage ministry. They had someone cancel. They were like, who can do it last minute? And my name came up.
Wow.
So I'm really happy because these 3 of 2.5 events, I'll tell you the story about this last one. I haven't officially booked it yet.
Okay.
But the other 2, and then this third one of like, at least the reaching out of like, he doesn't have anything to do. We're absolutely desperate. We'll go to the bottom of the barrel and, whose name is this? Oh, Taylor Schroll. We'll bring him in. What do you think about all this?
I think B teams are great. I think B teams are very important. I think
they went through their list and they were like,
no.
Who just passed?
First of all, are you getting dollars?
I am.
Okay.
I'm very happy.
Hallelujah.
I'm very happy to be the pinch hitter.
Praise the Lord. This is a half full, half empty moment. And I would like to concentrate on you meeting a lot of new people, making a lot of new connections, making a lot more dollars.
Making a lot of new connections. That's the professional word, lady.
Hey, look at my Wordle stats.
That's why you weren't welcome to the book club. You were like, there's a lot of new connections between this character and this one. You're like, get out.
No, you're going to make a lot of new friends. You're going to move up to the A team. If that's even what you want, is it? It is.
Absolutely.
It is. Okay. Yeah.
A team needs more dollars.
Okay.
And
yeah.
more warning.
Then
I can cancel and they can call you last minute.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So that was just kind of funny and just, I mean, like it was, holding these 2 things in advance, like at the same time where it was like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
To get 3 bookings in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
They're like pretty big. Like it's really neat. At the same time, it was like humbling all at the same time.
Yeah.
God knows what he's doing with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like that time that I prayed for years to be a Steubenville speaker. And then they never, they rejected me a bunch of times. And then the Diocese of Steubenville called me to be a speaker at their youth conference. And I looked up at God and I was like, you knew what I meant! Like, thank you! But when I said I wanted to be a speaker at the Steubenville Youth Conference, you knew what I meant! Thank you for what you gave me, but it's not what I meant.
Hilarious.
And that's what I learned. You have to be very specific in your prayers. So
that's great.
Okay, so here's what I have to do. So 2 days ago, the both of those places, Kansas and Florida, called to book me, the whole state. And then I booked Kansas like almost immediately. They kind of knew who I was. Okay, great. The marriage one, somebody had canceled that was older. So it's a marriage talk. This is what I knew going into the meeting yesterday. It's a marriage talk for about 45 to 85-year-olds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they've been married for not longer than I've been married. They've been married longer than I've been alive.
Right.
So I was like, I can do it. I'm happy to do it. I'm like, as I've, the last few years, I've started to do more events for, I started doing all youth stuff because I was 22, 23.
Sure, of course. Right.
But it's like, as I've gotten older and worked in ministry for a while and all this stuff, I'm doing more adult stuff. We're doing Foundations of the Parish where everybody's that age. I'm doing, I've done parish missions where it's most people that age. So that sort of thing. So like, I'm comfortable. At the same time, I was like, I want to make sure you're comfortable.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So one of the things that I have found it challenging at certain times in my career to stand up and talk in front of a room of Catholics. I'm like, y'all have been Catholic. Y'all have been at this far longer than I have. I have found in my experience, okay, that's right. So that's an interesting point, is that it's glaringly obvious that it would be comical for you to get up and try to shepherd these older people in their marriages. Like, so you only have one choice, which is to intentionally make it funny. So like, So for example, so for me, like I feel insecure talking to a room full of Catholics about how to be a good Catholic when I've been a Catholic for a fraction of the time that you have been a Catholic. So let's just kind of get this out in the open. So I have found that some of my best talks come with, starting with, I haven't been at this very long and I respect you so much. And now here's my perspective. Like here are the things that are.
I've been here for forever and I don't respect you at all.
But I feel like this is an awesome opportunity for you to do exactly what you do, which is get up there and be a big old fat smart ass. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I can't say that. Smart Alec.
Wait. No, I want to know. What word of that do you want to take back?
Definitely the ass.
Big, old, fat, smart.
Oh!
There was one positive verb.
I was clearly just like on
Big,
a roll and letting
old,
oh my gosh, Taylor, I am sweating. We have to start all the way over. Listen, I'm coming back
smart.
tomorrow.
No, that's all
it was
need.
a good try.
I'm smart. That's all that matters.
Okay, but I feel like I do feel like this is a great opportunity for you to go and like just be sarcastic, like be funny, make them laugh. Like there are a lot of jokes to be had here.
For sure. So one being, I had this meeting.
I'm legit sweating.
Great. I love that. I'm smart. I could go to the book club. You're not invited. Maybe I won't fit, but I'll get in somehow.
It is like running down my neck.
Do sweat drop down my neck.
Oh, wow.
It's like 1,000 degrees in here. Okay, let's finish this segment.
Okay.
So, I go in and I'm like, okay, I've done a talk, one talk.
Yeah.
Specifically for married couples that are older than me. I have one talk like that. And it goes through like, the salvation history. So like,
how?
Like you, well, because it's not experiential. It's
like,
this is
okay, sure.
stuff.
Okay, yeah, gotcha.
Kind of the irony of like, you being coming from being Protestant. It's like that's what you can share with Catholics because we don't have the Bible.
Right.
Do so it's like
right.
Most of your preaching is Bible based, which makes total sense whether you're doing that consciously or subconsciously.
Right.
That's what you have the specialty in. So like that's where I have stuff in. But here's what they said. They were like, we've seen some of your talks and we like them. Like they've seen like my talks. They hadn't seen the show yet. So I sent them the show. They were like, can you show us that you can be funny? I was like,
not this episode.
So I sent them the one episode that we were funny. It was 180 ago. But they were like, we don't want catechetical stuff.
Yeah.
So then I was
that's great.
Well, no, it took what I was going to talk about away. So then I was like, I can do the scriptural stuff or I can do like, the only other talk that I've given was for
I think it's great.
Like what are they called? Like pre-Cana couples or whatever?
Yeah.
Getting married?
Yeah.
So they were like, can you just come and be entertaining and be funny, but also make it about marriage? I was like, I'll try.
Yeah. No, I think that's like a really fun balance to try to strike.
I know how I'm gonna start.
What?
Hello, Florida. I'm a big fat dumbass. Nice to meet you.
Listen up.
Strap in. We'll be here for 2 hours. Okay, now say what you were going to say.
I don't know. I have short-term memory loss. I have COVID brain fog. Yeah. No, but I feel like there's these there are so many marriage stereotypes that there's a ton of material to just make somebody laugh and strike the balance of this is funny but true, like this is funny but even wise. Like you can, as long if what they're after is funny, you being able to strike a balance between like insightful and funny, and even if it's on accident, because we've all have those ridiculous marriage stories of, okay, we need to make a TikTok about this. Like, okay, this just happened, but we need to recreate this because everybody,
every day.
Yeah, because everybody can relate to this. We're recreating it, right. So there's relatable marriage stuff. Everybody, when you have a roommate of the opposite gender, stories happen and they are largely the same.
You just said roommate.
When you are under the same roof.
No, that word is roommate. You said roommate. And I'm like, what country are we in?
Roommate. Did I just say it weird again? Because that's how I say it.
Better.
Okay, hold on. I really loved my college roommate.
That was better.
Roommate.
You do. Speaking of cussing, I'm going to do it again. My dog's name was Rascal.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Rascal.
yeah, I learned that Southern people, this is the most Southern thing you've ever said around me.
Uh-huh.
Because his name was Rascal, we would shorten it to Ras. So whenever I would say come here and then his name, all the people thought I was cussing. Come here, ass! Like,
for sure.
They thought I was like talking to the lady next door or whatever. Come here, ass! No, it was Rascal. But you just did the same thing with roommate. I say 2 M's. You just say roommate.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's only 1 M.
Well, you have 2 syllable words and you combine them into one. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I went in, you went down. That was weird. And just oh man, this episode.
I mean, wow. Wow. Okay, but all that to say, I think that when you have a roommate, we all have very similar experiences, and it's going to be hilarious. You're going to do a great job.
My wife and I very rarely fight. One of the few times we fight a year usually tends to be on our anniversary. I was very sick this year, so we didn't interact much. So we didn't fight.
You lost an opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but that's kind of like Valentine's Day. It's like, how many people fight on Valentine's Day because it's Valentine's Day?
We don't fight at all because we don't do anything for Valentine's Day because puppy love makes us sick.
Uh-huh.
So
I feel all that
on like the 10th or the 16th.
But are you fighting because it's your anniversary? It's probably not a coincidence. You know what I mean? Like, is she?
It's just a realization that we are still married. So here's what happens.
That makes us angsty.
Here's what happens on our anniversary. We are good Catholics. We never, I never, maybe she does, but we never look at each other and be like, I never had the thought, why am I still with her? I never have that thought. Maybe she has the opposite. But on our anniversary, we consistently every year get in a little tiff in the morning.
Uh-huh.
That's a whole nother thing. that came up. Get in a little spat. Let's put it that way. and then we look at each other, and I will say, I don't know why you're still with me. And then she looks at me and says, I don't know why you're still with me. We have this realization of like, how does all this work for the other person?
Yeah.
And yet it does.
Yeah. Yeah. So hold on. Is it degradation? Like, are you genuinely like, what do you like about me?
No. It's not like a fishing for compliments thing. We're not you. But we're more like.
Have you met me? I feel like that's inaccurate.
Like I'm messed up. I'm difficult to be around.
Yeah. How does that lead to an argument?
Well, no. We argue. And then we both feel like it's our fault, and then we come back together and we're like, I don't know why you're
Yeah.
So it's a cute ending to a fight. Is what
that's an adorable ending. That's cute. Unrelatable to me, but cute nonetheless. Okay, what about all of the fights that Seth and I would get into that weren't like a big deal, like the things that were spats or tiffs or whatever, it would always Seth finally realized, are you hungry? Literally. He started asking, when's the last time? I am telling you
me that at some point, many years into marriage, he just like pulled a Snickers bar out of his pocket and shoved it in your mouth.
Kid you not. He would literally keep like packages of Chex Mix.
You're not you when you're hungry.
And totally. Like he would whip out a cheese stick. I'm like, where did that come from? And he's like,
with my children when they're like, they won't shut up, and I'm like, here's some Chex Mix. You're a child.
Chill out and have some cheese, okay? But honestly, he figured it out that I did not hate him and that I was just hungry, and we've been pretty copacetic ever since.
Well, I'm very proud of you. One day you'll be a big girl.
See, so Taylor, I think I'm just hungry today. It's like
that's it.
I'm at the end of my cleanse.
You know what's funny? You know what's really funny is about 30 minutes before you got here, I was like, I'm kind of hungry, and I want a pizza, but I was like, I can't eat it now. I have to wait until we're done. You want to go have pizza?
We should go have pizza.
All right, we're gonna go have pizza. I'm Taylor. That's Allison. I'll be back next week. She'll be back in a few. See ya. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening to today's episode. I hope that you enjoyed the chaotic good of myself and Allison hanging out here in the studio. We hope that you enjoyed that great conversation with our friends over at JMJ Missions about those saint stories. If you did, please hit the subscribe button. And everybody, whether you're watching on YouTube or you're not, check out some of our other videos on YouTube so we can get that watch time up. It would just be incredibly helpful for us. And I mean, I wouldn't make it if I didn't think that it was good stuff for people to consume. There's great stuff over on our YouTube channel. Not only full-length episodes of this show, but also our Catholic Perspective series, where we look at some of your favorite TV shows and movies and review them. I give my crazy thoughts on them from a Catholic point of view. We've got talks, we've got music, all kind of stuff. YouTube.com/Forte Catholic. Hit subscribe. Go check out those videos now. Y'all are the best. Love ya. Bye.